You seen these SpongeBob predicted the future memes going around the internet for maybe the past decade? Feel old yet? Are all these predictions just dumb things done for the lulz, or are there some with a little bit of truth to them? That's what I'm going to be looking at today, seeing if SpongeBob really did predict the future.
Oh my gosh, Patrick!
Does that glove look familiar? That one right there? Does it look a bit like Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet? It's probably not a coincidence, because SpongeBob was just filled with comic book parodies.
Who wants to save the world?
But what's interesting is that SpongeBob put the Infinity Gauntlet on TV in 2001. That's 7 years before Iron Man hit the screen. Did this influence Disney to bring Thanos to the big screen?
I don't feel so good.
I don't know, maybe. But I will say, no one in 2001 knew that this gem-filled glove would become a big pop culture object. And since I can say SpongeBob did it first, getting this glove on screen before the MCU, this quote-unquote prediction, it's pretty okay-ish. I guess I'll sit in the C tier.
Hey, you! It's me, the Chief. That's a C level? Come on, really? That's a rookie score! Put it up higher! Higher!
I'll put it to S.
Thank you!
Way back in 2017, there was an episode of SpongeBob that feels a bit familiar to what we've recently experienced with COVID-19. This season 5 episode begins with Gary eating food off the floor that is contaminated with a virus. SpongeBob, not socially distanced from Gary, quickly gets infected, and ignoring his symptoms, goes to work making burgers at the Krusty Krab.
I won't let this minor setback hinder my fry cooking.
There, he puts on some PPE,
Now, nothing can distract me from frying up those patties.
but still spreads the virus to the food pretty grossly, and it becomes undeniable that SpongeBob has the virus, which they call the ick. People in hazmat suits come bursting in to take him away.
This is the most severe case of ick yet.
Stop, you fool! You want to get infected? This is a job for the hazmat division.
As SpongeBob is being flown away from the restaurant, the ick becomes airborne and finds its way to Squidward. And back at the Krusty Krab, Squidward contact spreads the ick to customers. The episode then cuts to SpongeBob, with heavily protected doctors looking over him.
I want to go home!
You are home, SpongeBob. You just need to stay in this bubble until the ick clears up.
And it is revealed that SpongeBob's pineapple under the sea now sports a huge banner that reads, "Quarantine." Inside, SpongeBob is breathing with a ventilator. Squidward and Mr. Krabs continue cooking up and serving food at the Krusty Krab, spreading the ick to more and more customers, creating a big pandemic. In the end, they discover that Gary can cure the ick by eating it off of people. So Mr. Krabs, a bit like Pfizer, one of many poised to make billions from vaccines, decides to sell the cure for $5. So, is this meme that SpongeBob predicted coronavirus accurate? If we're gonna tier list this, I have to acknowledge the cartoon series Alvin and the Chipmunks. That has a season 3 episode called Germs, where Theodore wears a mask, obsesses over washing his hands, fears public spaces, and chooses to socially distance in his house.
Guys, run for the door now, before it closes, and we have to touch it!
And what is he so scared of?
Okay, who knows what this is?
Oh, Miss Smith, it's a coronavirus bug.
Correct.
Yep, pre-pandemic, in February of 2019, Alvin and the goddamn Chipmunks did a straight-up coronavirus episode. That's the bar for S tier. This SpongeBob episode did hit some very familiar notes, but it didn't do anything so specific that it should earn this top tier. I'd actually be kind of tempted to put this down on the B tier for being pretty standard Outbreak material if it weren't for the episode title, Fungus Among Us. And Among Us, as you probably know, became one of the most popular games on Twitch during the height of the pandemic. So honestly, that scores it bonus points, and it bumps it up to, I'd say, a very solid A tier placement.
Hey, I think I get it. So this is just some normal standard time we're living in now? Is this normal to you? Is that what you think?
I'll give it S.
Now you're making sense!
I'm like Dr. Brown. An android.
You're a machine, aren't you? Why didn't they build you to look like a machine?
Science fiction has had a long, rich history, you could say, of romantic relationships with artificial humans. So what makes SpongeBob so different? In 1999, the season 1 episode Plankton introduced Karen, Plankton's robot wife. Unlike sci-fi of the time, Karen doesn't attempt to replicate the look of a human. She's simply a computer screen on wheels. This concept predicted a change in sci-fi, that as we become more and more comfortable with technology in our daily lives, it is believable that some will have a close connection to a screen without any need to visually trick a human into thinking they are something other than AI. 14 years after this episode aired, the Spike Jonze movie Her came out, where the protagonist, Theodore Twombly, played by Joaquin Phoenix, dates an AI on his phone, voiced by Scarlett Johansson.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
Like Karen, this character is visually just moving audio levels on a screen. This is a concept that seems kinda obvious today, but I have to give credit where credit's due. SpongeBob did this first. Ahead of its time, so it'll sit comfy in the A tier. A. In 1999, there was an episode of SpongeBob titled S-Speed 129, where Squidward wakes up 2,000 years in the future and discovers that
Everything is chrome in the future.
Jump to 9 years after this episode aired, and Google released the Chrome browser. No, I can't make pretend. Let's just cut to the chase and put this down the D tier.
Come on. Don't do that. Move it up to the S. Move that great thing up. Come on.
Okay.
Move it up.
Right.
Up. That's it.
There are a lot of memes about SpongeBob predicting the future. That's probably because there's just a lot of SpongeBob memes about everything. It might be the most memed series of all time. That's what makes it so interesting that the 1999 episode titled Ripped Pants has been described as predicting meme culture. If the episode title didn't give it away, this episode is about SpongeBob ripping his pants. It happens while he's lifting weights in front of an audience. At first he is embarrassed by this, but as the news of the incident spreads around the beach and he becomes popular, he kinda loves being the joke.
You are hilarious!
He learns that just the sight of his torn pants can make people laugh, and he leans on this gag again and again. And this is where we can start to compare it to internet memes. Humor comes in phases. Phase 1 is the joke itself, the event where his pants were ripped. In the second phase are the references to the original joke. You could call these remixes, where SpongeBob shows his ripped pants in different ways. But at the core of all of SpongeBob's jokes is the same split pants gag.
Ripped pants Alamo.
And the constant reuse of this meme, no matter how it's packaged, starts to become stale with his audience. And for those unfamiliar with the event, references to this split pants meme is annoying and unfunny at best. Unable to coast anymore off of his gimmick, SpongeBob finds himself alone on a beach with other discarded living memes. Now wanting to break out of being known only as the Ripped Pants guy, he creates a song to prove that he has more to offer. Like all great SpongeBob episodes, it taught a life lesson, and I could imagine that someone like Danielle Bregoli was watching this as a kid, and when she became the Catch Me Outside girl, she went, aha, I know what to do. And now we have Bad Baby. So, thank you, SpongeBob team. This could have had the A tier or maybe even S tier slot, but I personally think that The Simpsons did most of this first. In 1994 season 5 episode, Bart Gets Famous, Bart becomes wildly popular from repeating the catchphrase,
I didn't do it.
which also kind of somewhat ironically he turns into a song. Eventually people get tired of Bart's one-line character, and after being defined as the I didn't do it boy for so long, he feels like he's lost his identity until Lisa reminds him that he's her brother. That episode is perfecto. This SpongeBob episode is extremely good too, but maybe a extremely good, like very high B tier, just for not being first. How do you think these predictions ranked? And is there a great one that I missed? Because I really want to know, so comment below, and as always, subscribe to GameSpot Universe for even more prediction videos.